So you're getting married. Congratulations. But now you need a wedding photographer. What do? How do you pick one? Hi guys, I'm Brittany and here's my advice on how to pick a wedding photographer and all that fun stuff. So as most of you know, I am recently engaged. I'm currently planning my wedding and I am in need of a wedding photographer. Chris and I did pick out our photographer. We just haven't put a deposit down because honestly we're trash. And we didn't expect it all to be so expensive. But anyway, so here's my advice for you. Tip number 1, it's the same with every wedding video I've made. I have the same tips essentially for the first one, and it's know your budget. Know what you're willing to spend on photography. Realistically, if you want to do your research first, that's pretty smart to see what people in your area are charging to plan a budget. Or if you have a set budget, that's fine too. Some photographers might be able to work with you. I know I was going to go shoot a wedding in Washington State for $300 with no travel fees. So, you know, they might be willing to work with you, or maybe I'm just crazy. If you need a super cheap photographer, I'll just travel, it's fine. I need an excuse to leave Pennsylvania. But know your budget, realistically what you can afford. Hand in hand with that comes tip number 2, and it's what are you looking for in your wedding photography? Do you want an album? Find someone who does an album. Do you want someone to shoot on film? Go ahead, find someone who shoots on film. Good luck with that. I don't know anyone who shoots weddings on film, but I'm sure you could find someone. Do you want one shooter or 2? Do you want them for 8 hours, for 10 hours? What kind of style do you like? Do you like dark and moody? Do you like that light and airy that seems to be a big theme in wedding photography? Know what you're looking for. It'll make narrowing down a photographer a lot easier if you know exactly what you're looking for. I know for Chris, an album was super important, and for me, an engagement session was super important. So I wanted to find a photographer who offered a free engagement session with their package, and someone who offered an album. So that's our photographer does, do the engagement session, and there's an album. You have to pay an additional fee for the album, but that's fine. We don't mind paying for it because it's what Chris really wants. My next piece of advice is to get to know your photographer before making any final decisions. And by that I mean you can go ahead and pay the first deposit if you really want to, but get to know your photographer as a person. I've read my photographer's blogs, every single one of them the photographer would like to book. I follow them on Instagram and on Facebook. You know, I've been kind of keeping tabs on, not keeping tabs, that sounds creepy, but like I've been doing my research essentially. And we really enjoy the personality of the people we're picking for our photographers, and they actually remind us a lot of ourselves. So that's why, one of the main reasons we like them and we're willing to pay over budget for them. But get to know your photographer. You're with this person every single minute of the day for your wedding. It's someone you're spending a lot of time with, so you want to get to know them. A good way to get to know your photographer is by doing your engagement session with your photographer who's shooting your wedding. I would primarily advise. I'll advise you. Do your engagement session with the same photographer who's shooting your wedding photos. That way it gives you a chance to work with them, to get comfortable, and to see if their images are really what you want. Maybe you thought you really liked their pictures, but once you see them with you and your fiance, you're not as much of a fan. And that's all fine and dandy. Then you can find a new photographer for your wedding. I think it's helpful. Also, they can help you work with posing. They get to know you better. You can get more comfortable in front of a camera. You get more comfortable with that photographer. I think there's a lot of benefits to doing your engagement session with the same photographer who's shooting your wedding. My last piece of advice, but again, it's the same as the other ones. Find a photographer that you really love. You know, don't pick something you don't like. If everyone in your family has super bright and airy wedding pictures, but that's just not what you do, go ahead, find someone who does dark and moody wedding pictures. They'll look great. They're gonna look amazing. Just find someone you like with images you like. You don't want to settle. This is your wedding. These pictures will be with you for the rest of your life. You probably won't remember much from that day if you're drinking as heavily as my family members will be. So pick someone who really connects with you and whose images you love, because like I said, they'll be with you for the rest of your life. You'll probably get them printed and hung up in your house. So make sure you like what you're paying for. Wedding pictures are very expensive. Wedding photographers are very expensive. So make sure you do your research. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any other advice for choosing your wedding photographer, feel free to put it down in the comments below. Tell me about your experience with your wedding photographer. I look forward to hearing from you guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.